to make out a police report on this hit and run. And I was amazed by all of these homeless people sleeping outside the police station 24 hours a day. Not just at night, 24 hours a day. Homeless people sleeping outside the police station because they have no place to go. And then on another occasion, I was talking with a police or someone. Somehow we got in the conversation, and I was talking to a state police officer. That's what it was, and he was telling me how the homeless people hang around the police station because after they feed the prisoners, those that are locked up in the police station, the extra food they give to the homeless people. I'm amazed at the rate of homelessness in the city, and it's not being addressed. And you know, you go through the poor communities, the black communities, the Hispanic communities, and you see them all over the streets. Can you give me $1? My excuse to beg for money. But you got homelessness over the city. And you got city councilmen, aldermen, state representatives, county commissioners. The city passed a $6 billion budget and don't address this homeless problem. They raising the taxes on the people. And I don't see the city council addressing the homeless people in their wards. Then you got the county commissioners that just raised the taxes. And I don't see them addressing the homeless people in this county. More importantly, the city of Chicago. Then you got the state legislature that passes a $59 billion budget. And I don't see them addressing the homeless issue in the city. But if you go to those that are in position, you go through the governor's neighborhood, you don't see homeless people in the governor's neighborhood. Go through Mike Madigan's neighborhood, the House Speaker, you're not going to see homeless people in his neighborhood. Go through the mayor's neighborhood around Soldier Field and see if you see homeless people in the mayor's neighborhood. They're in poor, black, inner city communities, and there's not a concern about the plight of the homeless in the city. But look at the city budget, look at the county budget, look at the state budget, and see what funding is allocated to Brookfield Zoo and Lincoln Park Zoo, where they spending millions of our tax dollars to help feed and maintain animals in the zoo. But they don't address the needs and the concerns of homeless people in the city. Yes, you see, when I ran for alderman of the 34th Ward against Kerry Austin, when I ran for state representative of the 28th Legislative District against Robert Reeder, I gained a great compassion for homeless people. Because when I was out there on the campaign trail for aldermen, when I was out there on the campaign trail for state representatives, I ran across homeless people in my 34th Ward. I ran across homeless people in my 28th Legislative District when I ran against Robert Reeder, which took in the 9th and the 34th Ward, Roseland and West Pullman in the Chicago area. I ran across homeless people that was just people, down and out. I'm talking about real homeless people. I'm talking about real homeless people. I'm not talking about people that stood on the street corner with a sign, I'm homeless. I'm not talking about people, I'm not trying to beg, but can you give me 50 cents to get a sandwich? As soon as they get $1 from somebody, instead of going and buying that sandwich, they give it the same line to the next. I ain't talking about those people. I'm talking about serious homeless people. These homeless people knew where the churches were in the 9th and the 34th Ward while I was running for state representative against Robert Reeder. They knew where the churches was that gave out food on a daily basis. They knew the churches that gave out food on a weekly basis, and they were there to get their daily meal from the churches. And I applaud those churches, because not one time did I see Robert Reeder, when I was running for state representative in my 28th district, out there addressing the needs of the homeless within the 9th and 34th Ward as the elected state representative. And I couldn't understand how you have over 50,000 registered voters in the 9th and 34th Ward alone. And less than 10,000 came out and voted and put Robert Reeder back in office. Over 40,000 people didn't waste their time to vote. I couldn't understand that. But then I understood why we have the conditions in our community that we do, because the common people don't get involved for change. I never heard Kerry Austin, when I was running for Alderman 34, address the homeless problem, the growing homeless problem in our community. And nor did I hear any of our elected officials addressing the fact, you know, when I went through the 34th Ward when I was running for Alderman, when I went through the 9th and 34th Ward when I was running for state representative against Robert Reeder, I just couldn't believe all the boarded up houses that I saw in my community when I went through the community. I couldn't believe boarded up houses everywhere over the 9th and 34th Ward. And I don't see the aldermen. I didn't see the aldermen addressing these concerns. I didn't see the state representative addressing these concerns. I didn't even see the Senate President, Emil Jones, who is my state senator, addressing this concern when he's supposed to be the most powerful black elected official in the state. And I didn't see these issues being addressed. And then I saw where Senator Jones appointed his son to replace him when he's retiring. And I scratched my head because I looked at the news and his son said, well, I'm going to bring economic development, work with the community. Wait a minute. You ain't work. I ain't seen you work with the community in the 30 plus years I've lived on South Low. I ain't seen you in the community, and you live, according to the registration, 4 blocks from me. 4 blocks from me. I have not seen, and if the Senate President didn't do it as the President, bring economic development, jobs, and opportunities to the community, how are you going to do it as a freshman senator? I just had to ask myself that. But we have a serious homeless problem in our inner city community. We have a serious case of people losing their homes in our community. And then we have a serious drug problem in this state, in this country. And I still have not figured out, how is it that black folks, poor black folks, poor black Hispanics, are not the biggest consumers of drugs in the city, in the state, and or this county. But we make up 90% of the prison population in this state. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out how black folks, colored folks, Negroes, I'm going to be nice, I ain't going to use the other word, but you know the other word, the N word, make up 90% of the prison population in the state of Illinois when we're not the biggest consumer of drugs. I'm still trying to figure out how police officers do undercover surveillance in our community. And they know all the vice lords, all the El Rookings, all the Latin Kings gang members in this city, in this state, and in this county. And when they get ready, they hold joint press conference. Oh yes, they do. They hold joint press conference with the Chicago police, with the Cook County Sheriff, with the North Suburban Police, with the South Suburban Police, with the state police, and even with the FBI, to talk about how we did these undercover surveillance and we hit these stings and we arrested all these drug leaders, all these gang leaders. We arrested them for selling drugs, for discriminatory. We took Cabrini Green back. We're taking the projects back. We're taking the streets back. And Chicago Works, Chicago Crime Watch, show all these pictures of the gang leaders. And not one time do I see them showing the source from which they get the drugs from. It's a mind game. It's a mind game. It's not coincident that you got 90% of the prison population poor people, black people. It's by design.